She's so fine. Hell of a blows my mind. Hell of a lights my day.
What's good, guys? Today is Thursday, July the 28th, 2022. This video is going to be an update video. I had previously done a video regarding sisters Mariel and Adriana Gil, and they were from Renton, Washington, or at least they lived in Renton, Washington State, which is actually the home of the Seattle Seahawks. And they were found dead in an apartment with their father with no obvious signs of trauma or anything. So I'm going to update this story, and I'm going to refresh you first, and then we'll get to the update. Mariel and Adriana Gil spent their lives taking care of each other and their younger sister. Betsy Alvarado, 33, of Everett, said her favorite memory with her daughters was the last road trip they took 1.5 years ago, a weekend getaway to Bellingham just for the fun of it. The mother parked near a beach on a balmy summer day so the three girls could walk down and watch the tide roll in. She stayed in the car, admiring the scene. They just sat there and hugged each other, looking at the water, Alvarado said. I took a picture and said to myself, this is awesome. They were in their own love, their own sisterly love. That's all that mattered to them at that point. On December the 11th of last year, the elder Gil sisters, Mariel, 16, and Adriana, 17, were found dead in the living room of a Renton home on Factory Avenue North. The body of their father, Manuel Gil, 33, was found the same day in an upstairs bedroom. Autopsies performed on the three did not show any obvious signs of death, and there was no sign of struggle in the father's home. Police believe the father was likely alive up to 5 days after his daughter died, according to a report in the Seattle Times. Betsy Alvarado still had many questions about the girls' last days alive, as she said goodbye to them at Cypress Lawn Memorial Park in Everett, Washington. The sisters were laid to rest side by side beneath bouquets of white snapdragons and roses. Alvarado sat and hugged her own mother. At the memorial service, family and friends paid tribute to the sisters. Humble, wise beyond their years, and caring were a few words used to describe the sisters. Naomi Anderson, 11, reminisced on fond memories. They taught me how to be responsible, how to cook, and how to clean up after myself, Anderson said. I always looked up to them, and they always treated me good. Last year, Alvarado said Mariel and Adriana went to live with their father in Renton. At first, the girls still visited their mother and stayed in touch, Alvarado said. The girls followed the Hebrew Israelite faith, Alvarado said, and they fasted for religious reasons. Their father followed the Black Hebrew Israelite faith. The mother said her daughters stopped visiting her altogether around February of 2021, saying that seeing her would make them sin through her. Alvarado said her girls would still talk to her on the phone. The conversations often devolved into arguments, Alvarado said. I would tell them, you guys need to come see me. I am your mother. You can't just cut me off. That's just not how it works. Telephone communication started to dwindle and eventually stopped completely. They were cutting everybody off. Me, their stepmother, their grandma, everybody, Alvarado said. The mother reportedly got notice the two girls were not showing up to school, and she started to worry. She said she called CPS in spring of 2021, but never heard any follow-up. Alvarado said she went to the Renton home on December the 10th. No one answered the door. She called the police. She hadn't heard from the two teenagers in weeks, but officers told her they couldn't enter the house without a warrant. The next day, the father's landlord went to check on the home when he heard police had been present at the residence the night before. The landlord discovered the girls' bodies wrapped in blankets and called 911. The mother said detectives found no obvious sign of the girls' deaths. She said a Renton detective told her that police were still awaiting a lab toxicology report. My worst fear is that they come back with nothing. Alvarado said. The Everett woman said her daughters were a healthy weight when she saw them in February of 2021. Before they died, Alvarado said they both lost about 50 pounds and estimated they weighed around 100 pounds. The mother said she doesn't believe in the starvation killed her girls. 2 teen girls do not die at the same exact time from starving, Alvarado said. I believe he killed them somehow and then he continued to starve himself. Betsy Alvarado said detectives didn't find anything in the home to indicate a cause of death. There was nothing that could be carbon monoxide. There was no signs of struggle or any injections. It was just like they went to sleep. The mother said she found out recently that the girl's father had quit his job in November. A co-worker reportedly told the mother that Manuel Gil had told a human resource employee things like, I need to make things right with my maker, and the end is near. That is suicidal verbiage to me, Betsy Alvarado said. At that moment, health authorities should have been immediately contacted. They would have been able to save my children. Betsy Alvarado said she hopes the story of her tragic loss will teach people better watch for signs of mental health crises. Speaking with a reporter, the mother cried as she reflected on her eldest daughter's potential. I truly, deep down in my heart, believe that my kids, if they were alive, would be people that would change the world because of the way they were. They were just different teenagers. They cared about important things. Betsy Alvarado said there was a time when she was homeless and offered her daughters options to stay with other family. She said Mariel didn't want to leave her mother alone, and the daughter wanted to stay right there with her. Mariel was a dreamer. She was so artistic and her head was always in the clouds. She was so caring about everyone. And then Adriana, my older one, she was very, very caring and humble. It was important to her to be good in school, and it was important to her to be good in sports. She played basketball. She loved it. Victor McClinton, 37, attended the memorial service for the girls. He was a longtime family friend. The biggest lesson that I gathered from them was to have a positive outlook on life, despite the limits we've been handed. They were always so happy. Addison Martin Rowe, 10, also attended the service. She said her 2 cousins taught her lots of things, like how to draw and communicate in American Sign Language. Mariel was always there for me when I was sad. Adriana was really kind, and she was always really good at making me laugh. As the service wrapped up, music arranged by the sisters' grandmother, Irma Amison, played in the background. Family and friends took turns tossing white roses onto the sisters' caskets. They played a song in memory of the girls, and I'll show the lyrics on the screen. Now, let's get into the update. I received a comment on that actual video 3 weeks ago, and it's from their stepfather, Ron Anderson. He says, thank you for your support for what happened to my 2 children. I'm the stepfather. The toxicology came back as they died of starvation. I'm extremely, in all caps, skeptical about this conclusion and feel as though something is very wrong with the investigation. How would 2 people starve at the same time? If they didn't, that meant one of them sat next to the other while they were dead. These 2 girls loved life and each other way too much for this to happen. This doesn't make any sense, and we have no idea what to do to get answers. I agree with him. First thought process is, how do 2 completely different aged young adults, completely different build young adults, die of starvation at the same time? I would think that I would think there would be a big gap, a possibility of a big gap in time frame for that. So that really blew my mind, that the coroner, the King County coroner, has come back with starvation. Now, the father, this is what gets me. The father watched his kids, if that's what they're going to go with, is starvation. The father watched his kids starve to death and sat there for 5 days with their bodies wrapped in blankets, and then eventually took his own life. There's something that's not sitting right about this case. And just like the stepfather said, one of them sat next to the other while they were dead. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. They said there was no food found in the home. Nothing was found in the home. I don't know. I wanted to bring this update, and I'm going to continue to research this case because this just really bothered me. It just doesn't make sense, and this mother needs some answers because not having an unknown as a cause of death and then throwing in, oh, starvation, that's not right. That's not right. So I just wanted to bring this update, and I will do another update because I'm probably going to do a FOIA request of some sort of type. And I'll probably contact the family as well. So I just wanted to do this. Thanks for watching, and everybody have a great night.